It's a modern-day gold rush. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in gold just sitting there free for the taking. Sounds good, right? Well, until you find out that to get it, you have to dive deep into Alaska's waters. But a little cold water isn't going to stop these prospectors. It's the underwater gold rush, and it took my co-anchor Bill Weir all the way to Nome.
If you happen to be off the coast of Nome, Alaska, and hear the sound of opera floating across the water, it could be one of two things: cold and fatigue-induced hallucinations, or Emily Rydell. She dreams of a life on the stage, but in the meantime, she makes ends meet by riding a tiny hunk of steel and plywood out into the Bering Sea, changing into a musty wetsuit, and then diving to the bottom with a 10-inch dredging hose.
I guess the typical route for the aspiring singer making money while they study is waitress, barista.
I would much rather dive in freezing water than waitress. That's how much I hate waitressing.
And as much as she hates serving coffee, that's how much she's come to love the sight of a certain precious metal through her scuba mask.
Describe gold fever.
It eclipses reality. You see gold and you forget everything else. You forget, that you're in danger. You forget that you're cold or unhappy.
Without gold fever, it's hard to imagine why anyone would move to this, the corner of frozen and desolate. But aside from a couple rough bars and some surprisingly good pizza, Nome has one thing going for it: geology. Ages ago, moving glaciers smeared gold deposits across countless acres here, and a century ago you could pick up nuggets off the beach. When the easy pickings disappeared, the boomtown died. But then came the recent global recession. When stocks crash, gold soars. Prices hit $1,800 an ounce, and suddenly building a dredge out of scrap and chasing flakes under the waves didn't seem so crazy.
It's hard to overstate just how primitive this thing is. Weathered plywood, screwed to a basic metal hull, sputtering engines, leaky pumps.
But for Emily's boss/ex-boyfriend, Zeke Tenhoff, the Edge is just the modern equivalent of a pickaxe and mule, and fortunes have been made with a lot less.
So what's the most excited you've ever been? What's your biggest strike?
When I was working by myself, I had a 10-ounce day. That was really exciting. That was like, almost 20 grand in a day. But I've spent months and months, summer weather, months and months just trying to repeat that. Yeah. And, a lot of times it's just getting by.
The roller coaster ride has also turned Nome into a boomtown for reality television. Discovery's Bering Sea Gold tracks the physical toll, the emotional role that comes with hunting color under open water and under the ice. Many of the miners go deep into debt to chase the dream, often with bitter results.
Time to drink.
You want to go, Vern?
For example, Vernon Atkinson plowed hundreds of thousands into his rig last season, but found less than a single ounce and ended up in a bar brawl with his captain. And then there is the Pomeranke crew of the Christine Rose, the father-son team who left a Minnesota farm when the gold bug bit. Rather than spend all day hosing the bottom, they mounted a backhoe to an 80-foot barge and spent 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to scoop their way to glory.
What do you think that is weight-wise?
Oh, it's about a half an ounce.
Half an ounce, but that's still
$1,000 worth.
$1,000 right there.
We mined thousands and thousands of ounces in our career already, getting pretty close to 20,000 ounces since we started.
Yeah.
But then we had a couple, 3 bad years, and that wiped out, 12, 13 years of good mining.
The bathroom facilities may be rustic, but at least they stay relatively dry all day, while over on the Edge, Emily has learned firsthand how risky their method can be.
Pull me up, pull me up. I think the most afraid I've ever been, I had a couple of experiences this summer that really made me question diving. You can so easily get trapped underwater. So something could just so easily go wrong. Our air compressor is old and crappy, and it could shut down in any minute.
So is it a desperate need for cash, or is it love of the hunt that keeps you coming out here?
It's both. I'm ruined
for life, we're getting a real job. I mean, like, this is...
And what do you say to the person watching this who's a gambler, says, I'm gonna go do that. I got plywood. I got an old pump. I'm gonna go do it.
By all means, but just accept that it's gonna mean spending a lot of winters in Nome broke.
That's the title of a good song. A winter in Nome broke.
Yeah, I mean, that's the story of gold miners. I mean, gold miners sometimes make a lot of money, and it doesn't last. And they always die broke. Up your Nome.